at a ceremony steeped in history and reverence. It was a simple, spontaneous gesture between two brothers that brought smiles to faces across the nation. During the 80th anniversary of VE Day, as veterans were honored and the royal family gathered in solemn commemoration, 7-year-old Prince Louis added a touch of lightheartedness to the occasion with a moment of mischief aimed at his big brother, Prince George. During one moment on the balcony, Princess Anne, who had been chatting to her brother in a strong display of unity during the fly past, seemed to notice that Charles was waving to go indoors before her. The anthem had been played, placing a hand out to pat him affectionately on the back. She seemed to warn him so he could turn and get into position. It was a gesture that suggested Anne is quietly keeping an eye on her brother. Another sibling who was surprisingly keep an eye on their brother at the other end of the balcony was surprisingly Louis. When the anthem was played, he stood to attention like his sister, but he suddenly turned to check out his older brother George behind him. George was caught with his hands still clasped in front of his body, and in a complete turnaround, it was the normally playful Louis who seemed to quickly correct him before turning back. As the young royals took their seats alongside their parents and sister Princess Charlotte in the specially arranged viewing area outside Buckingham Palace, cameras captured a heartwarming exchange between the brothers. Prince George, dressed smartly in a navy suit and royal blue tie, brushed his hair away from his face in a quiet, absent-minded gesture, one typical of an 11-year-old boy striving to sit still and appear composed. Prince Louis, seated nearby in a matching suit, had clearly been watching. Moments after George's subtle hair flick, Louis mimicked the move, but not without a theatrical twist. With a mischievous glint in his eye, he swished his own hair with exaggerated flair, pairing it with a comically dramatic facial expression that made it impossible for those watching not to laugh. It was unclear whether the cheeky prince was teasing his older brother or simply trying to be like him. Perhaps it was a bit of both. Either way, the moment served as a refreshing reminder of the boys' sibling bond, a blend of admiration, humor, and typical brotherly antics. Observers noticed George's dignified demeanor as he participated in one of his significant public engagements to date. Sitting upright and engaged, he carried himself with the seriousness befitting a future king. But even George, known for his growing poise, couldn't entirely ignore his younger brother's antics. While he didn't react overtly, a subtle glance suggested he was aware and maybe even slightly amused. Later, Prince Louis was spotted rolling his eyes at George in another candid moment, proving that beneath the royal titles and tailored suits, these children are at heart just siblings navigating the ups and downs of growing up together in the spotlight. The Wales trio were last seen together in public at the Christmas Day church service on the Sandringham estate. Louis, who during past public appearances has stolen the show, did not disappoint royal fans, and was seen at one moment sticking out his tongue, a trademark gesture for the young royal. He also held William's gold alettes, the braided loops hanging from the shoulder of his RAF uniform, and appeared to touch his father's shoulder again, and also held out his hands, palms up as if he was testing for rain, which later fell. This intimate event will honor their resilience and sacrifice, with the royal family present to express national gratitude. Charles was wearing naval uniform No. 1 dress, with no medals or decorations, as his grandfather King George VI wore on the palace balcony on VE Day in 1945, while William wore RAF No. 1 uniform. Camilla was dressed in a sapphire blue, wool crepe dress and coat by Fiona Clare with the 12th Royal Lancers brooch. The regiment of her late father, Major Bruce Shand. The Duke of Edinburgh wore Army No. 2 service dress of the Scots Guards, while Duke of Kent wore Field Marshal No. 2 service dress. Princess Anne, who was also present, wore the uniform of the first aid nursing yeomanry with no decorations. The royals observed a military procession from a specially built dais on the Queen Victoria Memorial outside Buckingham Palace, while thousands of people packed the streets as 4 days of commemorations began. The King, Queen, and other members of the royal family are much looking forward to all the week's V-Day events, when they will unite with the rest of the nation and those across the Commonwealth and wider world in celebrating, commemorating, and giving thanks to the wartime generation whose selfless devotion, duty, and service should stand as an enduring example to us all and must never be forgotten